Hello and welcome students. We are into the 16th video lecture of the lecture series made on the subject mechanics of solid, and the subject code of this subject is ME201. The topic which we are going to discuss today is the calculation of support reaction for hinged and roller supports. I am Shri Krishna Mishra, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. Now, before starting the lecture, let's look into the objectives of today's lecture. The lecture objectives of today's lecture are: first, to know about different types of support. Basically, students, at the start, we are going to know about different types of supports. Though in the previous video lecture we have started this topic, now based on that type of support we are going to solve the numericals. So first objective is to know about the different supports and how to how to how to write the forces developed there due to that support. Second is to calculate support reactions for beam having roller and hinged support. Our second objective of today's lecture is to calculate the support reactions for those type of beams which are having roller or hinged support. All right. And the third objective is to calculate support reactions for beam which are subjected to moment at any location on it. So basically we are going to calculate first of all support reactions, and that too support reactions also for what? For different types of support. Different types of support means one is the roller support, which we are going to discuss today. We are going to calculate the support reactions when the beam is supported with the roller support, and we are also going to find the support reaction when there is hinge support to the roller, to the beam. All right. So to calculate support reactions for beam subjected to moment at any location, this is an important aspect. We will solve a numerical based on this particular thing in which the beam is subjected to moment, where the beam is subjected to moment. All right. So the case will be like this. You will have a beam, students, you will have a beam like this, and there will be some moment which might be acting on it like this. It might be clockwise or it might be anti-clockwise, which may be acting at any point. For example, if it is acting at this point, then the moment will be in this way. The moment will be in this way. So you can see that we will solve this type of question also, and we will also solve questions in which there will be roller support. There will be roller support. All right. So let's see how the questions are solved when they are based on this particular topic. Roller support, as you know, here the beam is supported with the help of rollers, and these are helpful at the time when there is some thermal contraction or expansion going on in the beam. So in order to allow that expansion and contraction of beam due to the thermal expansion, we generally make the use of roller support. All right. In this case, the end of the beam is supported on rollers. In this case, the end of the beam is supported on rollers, and the reaction on such an end is always normal to the support. Here always one thing to be noted is that the reaction in the case of roller support is always normal, to the support, So this will be kept in mind when we will solve the questions. And the other advantage of roller support is that in this case the beam can move easily towards left or right. In such cases, the beam can easily move towards left or right in order to account for the expansion or contraction due to the change of temperature. In order to account for the expansion or contraction of the beam due to the change of temperature, this particular roller support assists in such a way that it can move to the left or the right when there is any expansion or contraction. And the reaction that is developed on such type of supports is the vertical reactions, normal to the support, always normal to the support. If the beam is inclined, if the support is inclined in this way, you can see, then again the support reaction that will be acting on it will be normal to this inclined surface. It will not be like this. Don't get confused. It will never be like this. It will never be like this. All right. So I hope you have understood this theory of roller supports. Now, what is hinge support? In the case of hinge support, the end of the beam is hinged to the support as shown in the figure. All right. These are the cases of hinge support. Like the doors are having a joint which is known as hinge joint, and it allows the door to move in this way. It allows the door to swing in this way. All right, means about that particular joint, the door can move, the door can rotate in this way. All right. Now, see, in the case of hinge support, there can be end reactions, if we talk about the end reactions, students, end reactions can be horizontal, it can be vertical, or it can be inclined, and this depends on the type of loading. This depends on what type of loading is there. All the steel trusses of the bridges have one of their end roller supported and the other as hinged. We will see the steel trusses of the bridge, you will find that one end of the steel truss has a roller support, and the other is a hinge support, and the other is your hinge support. On one hand you will see the roller support, and on the other hand you will see the hinge support. Like in this way, one portion will be of hinge support, all right, and the other one will be the roller support, and the other one will be the roller support. And the type of end reaction can be either horizontal or vertical, or it can be inclined, and that depends on the type of loading. Now the main advantage of hinge support is that beam remains stable due to it. All right, a little consideration will show that the beam cannot be stable if both of its ends are supported on rollers. Now one thing that comes into our mind is that if we keep both of the ends of the beam with the roller support, if we keep both the support of the beam as the roller support, then the problem will be that the beam will not be stable. The beam cannot be stable. All right, when we keep both the ends as the roller supported, it is thus obvious that one of the support is made roller supported and the other is a hinged support. Therefore you will always find, students, that one support is roller support, all right, and the other support is the hinge support. Now moving further, taking an example, now what we will do, we will solve an example in which we have to calculate the end reactions. And we can see in the figure also, you can see, students, this is the question is saying that the span of the beam AB is of 6 meter. All right, means the distance from this portion to this portion, total distance from here to here is 6 meter. Is how much? Is 6 meter. All right, and now we have to calculate the reactions at A and B. We have to find the reactions at A and reactions at B. So basically this we have to calculate here, reactions here and reaction here. Let the reaction at A be written as RA, and let the reaction at B, let the reaction at let the reaction at A be RA and at B be RB. Now the type of loads which are acting here, first of all have a look on the support which are given at the end A and B. At end A you can see the support is hinge support. This is your hinge support. All right, and at support B you have the roller support. You have roller support at support B. Now the loads which are acting, this means that since the surface is horizontal, So now let's see what are the loads which are acting here. One is the uniformly distributed load of 1.5 kilonewton per meter. As you can see here, this is the value given. The other one is the point load, or we can say concentrated load of 5 kilonewton acting at point C. The other one is the 4 kilonewton force acting at point D. Alright, but it is inclined at some angle. And what is that angle? That angle is 135 degree. So these are the values given here. We will use the three conditions of equilibrium. We all know the three conditions of equilibrium are what? First is your summation of all the horizontal forces is equal to 0. Alright, summation of all the horizontal forces is equal to 0. Second is your summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. And the third is moment about any point. For example, let's say point A is equal to 0. So we will be using these three conditions of equilibrium, and we will try to calculate the reactions at A and reactions at B. So let's move into the calculation now. First of all, as we have mentioned, RA and RB are reactions at A and B. Alright, and we know that as beam is supported on rollers at the right hand, therefore reaction RB will be vertical. As I have told you in the theory also, that whenever there is roller support, whenever there is a student roller support, alright, and there you will only have the vertical reactions. Alright, and since also one of the reason is here the support is, here the rollers are kept horizontal, so this is also the reason. Also, as the beam is hinged at left support A, the other thing is that the beam is hinged at support A and the beam is carrying an inclined load. The beam is carrying an inclined load. Therefore, the reaction at this end will be the resultant of horizontal and vertical forces. Alright, since you are seeing that one of the load in this beam, is inclined in this way, at some angle. Alright, at some angle. So this particular load will cause two types of forces, two types of end reactions on that end which is having the hinge support. Alright, on the end which is having hinge support, at that end, since the beam is carrying this inclined load, therefore you will have horizontal as well as vertical reactions at this end. Alright, and thus the inclined, and thus the we can move now into the solution part. See, we are going to apply the analytical method here, though we can solve by a graphical method also, but I am not discussing it because in maximum cases we generally use the analytical method. So by analytical method solving this numerical, so as you can see students, that first of all there is a 4 kilonewton load which is inclined at 135 degree. So we will resolve it in horizontal and vertical direction. So how we will resolve? See, if we see that this angle, this angle given to us is 135 degree, so the remaining angle, students, this angle will be equal to 180 minus 135. This means that this angle is equal to 45 degree. This angle is equal to 45 degree. Now if we have to resolve it into two forces, one in vertical direction and one in horizontal directions, then the component in the vertical direction will be equal to how much? It will be equal to the component in the vertical direction, since it is not connected by the angle 45 degree, we can write that it is equal to 4 sine 45 degree. So 4 sine 45 degree. Alright, and the component in the horizontal direction will be equal to 4 cos 45 degree. Alright, so these are the two components. We will calculate these two components and we will see that the obtained resolved value in the vertical direction of this 4 kilonewton force is equal to 2.83, and when we have resolved this force in the horizontal directions, then the value is 2.83 kilonewton. So now what we will do, students, now we will calculate the moment about this point A of all the forces. So the force which is in the horizontal direction, student, this force will not have any distance, will not have any perpendicular distance from the point A. Why it will not have any perpendicular distance from this point A? Because it is passing through this point A. So this force, we will not consider this horizontal component of this force, 4 kilonewton force, while finding the moment. Now the anti-clockwise moment about this point A will be only due to the reaction force which is developing in this roller support, will be only due to the vertical reaction force which will be acting here. So what is the support? If the support is RB, so RB into this total distance, RB into this particular total distance from here to here, that is how much it is given as 6. So RB into 6 will be the clockwise moment about this point A. It will be clockwise moment about this point A. In this way you can say its sense will be anti-clockwise. Now all the other forces which are going downwards and which are at the right hand side of this point A, they all will cause the anti-clockwise moment. They all will cause clockwise moment. This 5 kilonewton about this point A will create a sense of clockwise moment. Again this 4 sine 45 degree, it will also create a clockwise moment. Again this UDL will be considered as a point load at its center. So if the total length of this UDL is 2 meter, so this UDL will be considered as a point load. This UDL can be considered as a point load of value how much? Its value will be 1.5 kilonewton per meter, means 1.5 into what is the total length? Total length is 2 meter. Alright, so this is the total load, and where it will be considered as acting? This will be considered as acting at a distance of 2 divided by 2, means 1 meter from this point C. This means that total from A to C it is 2 meters. So from A students, the total distance of this particular location, where we are considering this UDL as a point load, will be equal to 2 plus 1. It will be total distance will be 3. Total distance will be 3 meter. Alright, so 1.52 into 2 means 3 into 3 will be the moment due to this UDL, and due to this 5 kilonewton force, since it is at a distance of 2, therefore 5 into 2 will be the moment about A due to the force 5. Alright, so you can see here students, first of all anti-clockwise moment RB into 6, only one force was there, that is the reaction at B, which was giving us the anti-clockwise moment. So 6 into RB is the anti-clockwise moment, and for clockwise moment we have added the moment caused by all the forces, 5 into its distance 2, this 5, and into its distance 2 from A. Then the other force is 1.52 into its distance 3. Alright, then the third is 2.83, and the third force is 2.83. What is this 2.83? 2.83 is this component of this 4 kilonewton force in the vertical direction. So this component of 4 kilonewton force in the vertical direction into its distance. What is the distance? 2 plus 2, that is 4. So 2.83 into 4. This is the third component. We will add the 3 moments about the point A of all the forces that are going downwards, and this will give us the clockwise moment. And we all know we will equate the clockwise moment with the anti-clockwise moment by the condition that the moment about this point A should be equal to 0. So clockwise moments should be equal to anti-clockwise moment, means 6 into RB is equal to 30.03, and if you will calculate RB will be equal to 5.05 kilonewton. So 5.05 kilonewton is the answer of this particular numerical. I hope you have understood that this inclined load has, in this way RB is calculated. Now see, RB is the answer, but one more thing you have to calculate here, RA also you have to calculate. How you will calculate RA? Now see, the summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. If we apply that thing also, then all the vertical forces going downwards are 5 plus UDL is 1.5 into 2. All right, then you have 2.83, the component of inclined load, in the vertical direction, that is 2.83. all right, so this, and what is the force that is going upwards? That is your 5.045, that is the RB. So this will give you the reaction at A. All right, so but one thing should be kept in mind, this value which you have obtained as the reaction at A, this is that value which is giving you only the vertical component of the reaction. Means the reaction which you will get, student, will be an inclined reaction, and that you will get only after finding the resultant of two reactions which you are having here. All right, two reactions means one you have calculated by this formula, and one was the component which you obtained in the previous step. What was that component? It was 4 cos 45, that is 2.83. This was that component which is acting in this direction. All right, so due to this the reaction in the horizontal direction at this hinge support, not in this support, sorry, not it will not be here, it will be here. The reaction in the horizontal direction due to this support will be denoted by this way. It will be denoted by this. So one force is this and the other force is this, which we have calculated. And now for getting the resultant reaction, what we will do, we will have to find the resultant, and you all know how to calculate the resultant. Resultant will be equal to this vertical RAH, let it name as RAH square, and plus RAV square. This will give you the value of resultant at point A. Means if you will have to find the resultant at point A, you will have to do the whole root of square of RAH plus square of RAV, and the final answer which you will get is equal to 6.44. Now the angle, the direction, if you want to show the direction also, so we all know that for finding the direction of the resultant, it is equal to sigma V by sigma H, means RAV upon RAH. Tan theta is equal to, we can write RAV divided by RAH. all right, so in this way you can find tan theta also, and finally the angle can be calculated. Now we will solve one more numerical, and in this numerical the speciality is that the beam is also having a UVL, uniformly varying load. I have told you about this particular load. This is your UVL, uniformly varying load. I have told you in the previous video lecture when I was telling you about the different types of load which act on the beam. That time I told you that this is your uniformly varying load, and in this type of load the load is not constant over the entire length. It is increasing from a point, from its minimum value to some maximum value at the other end. As you can see that at point E the value of the load is 0, and it increases uniformly, and its maximum value of 2 kilonewton per meter is at point B. Here you have the value 2 kilonewton per meter. Apart from that, it also has one uniformly distributed load of 2 kilonewton per meter, and it also has 2 point loads of 4 kilonewton at C and D. Now we have to calculate the support reactions at A and at B. Since the direction of the support reactions is vertical, means we have to only calculate the vertical reactions. And you can see from the diagram also, it is simply supported and there is no an inclined load that is acting on it. So there will be no vertical end reaction. All the reactions at A and B will be horizontal. Sorry, there will be no horizontal reaction. All the reactions at A and B will be vertical. Now let's move into the solution. So you can see, students, in the figure, first of all, what we are going to do, we will use the condition of equilibrium, which says that the summation of moment about any point should be equal to 0. Means we are taking the point A about which we are going to calculate the moment of all the forces. So we will consider all the anti-clockwise moments. Now here the anti-clockwise moment will be developed by only one force, which is the reaction force at B, which is the reaction force at B. This is the reaction force at B. This will cause the anti-clockwise movement, and its distance from point A is how much? Its distance from point A, if you have total every value of length, you will find it is equal to 6, and in the numerical also it is written that the span of the beam is 6 meter. Span means the total length of the beam from A to B. It is equal to 6 meter, which is given. So the anti-clockwise moment due to this reaction force RB will be equal to RB into 6. That is 6 RB will be the moment, anti-clockwise moment. Now the work has to be done in order to find the clockwise moment about the point A. How we will find the clockwise moment? Now there are number of forces which will create clockwise moment about this point A. What are those forces? The forces are 4 kilonewton force, and its distance is how much? Its distance is 1 meter. Alright, it is given here. Second force is again 4 kilonewton, but its distance is at a distance of 2 meter from the point A. So first is your 4 kilonewton force, distance 1 meter. Second is your 4 kilonewton force and its distance is 2 meter from point A. And third is your uniformly distributed load of 2 kilonewton per meter. So total load will be considered. Total load will be considered where? It will be considered at its center. Center means if the total distance of this UDL is 1 meter, so we say that it can be converted into a point load of 2 kilonewton into total distance on which it is acting is 1. So 2 into 1 is the load, and if we have to find the distance from point A, so for that, see, this UDL will be acting at a distance of half from one of its end. Total length is 1 meter, means 0.5. It is acting at a distance of 0.5 from this point C. And from A to C, what is the length from A to C? It is given as 1 meter. So 1 meter plus 0.5 meter will give you the distance of this UDL, which has been converted into point load of value 2 into 1. So 2 into distance 1.5 will give you the moment obtained from this UDL. So 2 into 1.5, 2 into 1.5. Alright, now the only one that is left, here is what? The only one that is left here is this particular load, which is the uniformly varying load. We have to calculate the moment about this force. So for this, first of all, you should know that how we will calculate its a load value and where it will be considered. See, in the case of uniformly varying load, the center where we are considering that a point load capable of the value of this particular UVL is acting, that particular center will be considered at which location? It will be considered at a distance, at a location of h by 3. If the total from here to here you are taking h, then from base it will be taken as h by 3, and from the top point it will be taken as 2h by 3. All right. Now what is the h here? Total distance is 3 meter, means from this particular portion this will be equal to 1. All right, and this from here it will be equal to 2h by 3, means 2 into 3 by 3 means 2. So the distance from point A to the center of this UVL will be equal to how much? It will be equal to from here to here, it will be equal to this particular distance. As I have told you, it is equal to 2h by 3, means it is equal to 2. All right, and the remaining from here to here, this is equal to how much? It is equal to 3. So 3 plus 2 students, this will give you the length of the concentrated load due to this UVL at a distance of 5 meter from point A. Now what is this particular load value that we have to calculate, and how we will calculate the load value? See, the load is calculated in this way, that at one end, that is at point E, the load value of this UVL is 0, and at the other end, that is at point, this particular point at B, the load value is 2. So just add these two values, and divide it by 2, this will give you, and also you will have to multiply this with the height. This will give you the total load, which can be supposed to be the point load having the same effect as the UVL. All right, so what we have done, we have added the extreme values of this load, means at point E and point B, the values we have added, divided by 2, and multiplied with the this particular distance from E to B, to which we are writing as h. All right, so 0 plus 2 divided by 2 into h. This is the formula. So for this formula, we have calculated first of all the load value, 0 plus 2 divided by 2 into h is what here? H is 3 here. H is 3. This is your h, and into 5. 5 is what? 5 is the distance of this load, which is acting distance from point A of this load. So in this way we have calculated the anti-clockwise moment also, clockwise moment also. All right, anti-clockwise moment should be equal to clockwise moment. We all know this, that anti-clockwise moment should be equal to clockwise moment, and if we equate, we will find that RB, reaction at end B, is equal to 5 kilonewton. Now if you use the formula summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0, if you use this condition of equilibrium, you will find that you will have one more equation, 4 plus 4, all the forces which are going downwards. 2 are the point loads, 1 is the uniformly distributed load, so the load is 2 kilonewton per meter, means 2 into 1 we are writing. The other is the UVL, and what is the value of this UVL? 0 plus 2 by 2 into 3, means it is equal to 3. So these are the forces which are going downwards, and this should be equal to the forces which are going upwards. And what are the forces which are going upwards? RA plus RB. So this is one more equation, and if you are having RB now, which we have already calculated, 5 kilonewton, you minus this particular forces which are going downwards with 5, and you will get that RA is equal to 8 kilonewton. RA is equal to 8 kilonewton. RA is equal to 8 kilonewton. So I hope this numerical is also well understood by you. All right. Now we will see that if only UVL, uniformly varying load, is acting on any beam, then how we have to calculate its reactions and reactions. Here one thing has to be kept in mind, that the load or at one end is not 0. In the previous question, the load at this particular end was 0, and on the other end it was maximum. But here the case is that at one end the load is 1 kilonewton per meter, and at the other end the load is 2 kilonewton per meter. So in such cases what we will do, we will divide whole of this uniformly varying load, this whole of this uniformly varying load will be divided into two parts. One will be considered as uniformly distributed load whose value is same from here to here. All right, 1 kilonewton per meter, and apart from it the other we will consider as UVL. This is the UVL, student. What is UVL? This particular portion we will consider as UVL. All right, this will be your UVL which is acting. All right, now this is your UDL which is acting, and above it we are having a UVL. Now we will treat them separately. The value of UVL will be, if you minus this 1 from 2, it will be equal to 1 kilonewton per meter. All right, and at here it is equal to 0. So let's now move further. See here, students, we have assumed the uniformly varying load to be split up into first a uniformly distributed load of 1 kilonewton per meter over the entire span, and the second is your triangular load of 0 at one side to 1 kilonewton per meter at the other side, as I have told to you. And now if you have to calculate the anti-clockwise moment due to RB end reaction, how you will calculate? About this point A, we are calculating the moment. So the anti-clockwise moment will only be developed by this force B, and it will be equal to RB into its distance. It is 4.5 from A, so it is equal to 4.5 into bar B. Now considering the clockwise movements, now the clockwise movements will be developed by this UDL also at the center plus the UVL also at a point of its center of gravity. So UDL value is how much? 1 kilonewton, and how much length it is acting? 4.5. So 1 kilonewton per meter into 4.5 will give you 4.5 kilonewton. All right, and where it is acting? At the center, means 4.5 divided by 2 will give you the distance 4.5. all right, divided by 2 will give you the distance from point A. So this is the first term, 1 into 4.5 into 4.5 divided by 2, that is 2.25. And now considering the UVL, for UVL, what is the total load? We all know for UVL the total load is calculated. How we calculate the total load? First of all, on one end the load is 0, so 0 plus, on the other end the load is 1. I am talking about the UVL. So 0 plus 1 divided by 2 all right, 0 plus 1 divided by 2, then what? We multiply it with the span. And what is the span? Span is 4.5. so this will give you the value of load. So it will be equal to how much? It will be equal to 2.25. all right, it will be equal to 2.25. so we have calculated this 2.25 is the value of UVL. And now where it will act? It will act at its center of gravity. Now center of gravity we all know that center of gravity of a triangle lies at a distance of 2h by 3 from its apex point, from its top point. Means it is at a distance of 2h by 3. 2h by 3 means 2 into multiply, what is h here? H will be your 4.5. so 2h divided by 3, this will give you the value of distance from the point A. So if you will calculate, you will find its value is equal to 3. Its value is equal to 3. all right, so in this way you can calculate it. So finally We have calculated the value of RB by equating the clockwise and the anti-clockwise moment. RB is 3.75, and from that we have calculated RA. RA will be calculated by subtracting all the load values which are going downwards, means one from the UDL, other from the UVL, and we will subtract this load value by the load which is going upwards, means the support reactions RB. All right, so we will get the value of Ra. So in this way, Ra and Rb both end reactions we have calculated in this question also. Now we will discuss some multiple choice question. So the multiple choice question number 1: in a simply supported beam carrying triangular load, the reactions cannot be vertical. So is it true? Reactions can't be vertical in the case of simply supported beam? The answer is that false. If there is a triangular load, there will be the vertical reaction always. All right, so answer is false. In coming into the MCQ number 2, what is MCQ number 2? A overhanging beam with downward loads dash have one of its reaction upwards and the other downwards. And so in case of overhanging beams, the reaction can be one in the upward direction and other in the downward direction. So option A is correct option. Coming into MCQ number 3, the reaction at the roller support end of a beam is always, so in the case of roller support, the reactions can be vertical, horizontal, both. So none of the above we can say, because in the case of roller support end of the beam, the reaction is always vertical. All right, so in the case 3 we can say none of the above. Coming into fourth one, if the reaction of a beam at one of its support is the resultant of the horizontal and vertical forces, then what type of beam it is? We all know this is the case with the hinged end. The hinged end support have horizontal as well as vertical end reactions. Coming into MCQ number 5, a couple acting at midpoint of a simply supported beam has some horizontal and vertical components. So couple can have a horizontal as well as vertical component. No, the answer is we disagree with this point. Coming into MCQ number 6, a truss hinged at one end. A truss which is hinged at one end, supported on roller at the other, is subjected to horizontal load only. Is it true? Its reaction at the hinge end will be, so the reaction at hinge end in the case of a truss having roller at one end and is supported by horizontal load, in such cases the reaction at hinge end will be the resultant of horizontal and vertical loads. It will be the resultant of horizontal and vertical reactions. So this was MCQ number 6. Coming into the next MCQ, some simple MCQs are there. We are into the MCQ number 7th. What is the question saying to you? A simply supported beam offers only dash reaction normal to the axis of the beam. So we all know it offers, simply supported beam only offers vertical reactions. Coming into the next MCQ, MCQ number 8, to avoid dash stresses in beams, one end of the beam is placed on the rollers. So which type of stresses are prevented by keeping one end of the beam in rollers? Thermal stresses, means temperature. So option C is the correct option. Coming into the next MCQ, MCQ number 9, students. Dash support develops support moment. So which support develops support moment? We all know that fixed support used to develop the moment at its support point. So option C is the correct option. Coming into the last MCQ, MCQ number 10. See here, hinge support is called as, we all know that hinge support is called as a, we all know that hinge support is also known as the pin joint support. So here in the option you will find that D option is your pin joint. So the correct option for this multiple choice question number 10 is your pin joint, D, option D. So all the multiple choice questions related with the today's discussion have been completed. For your personal understanding and for solving some more numericals, you can use some references. The references which you can use are, these are the references which you can use, students, for your self study. And in these references, for your test book, you can use the last one, the Strength of Materials book by R.K. Bansal. It is of S. Chand publication. Apart from that, if you want to go for some advanced questions, some practical questions, if you want better understanding of the concept which I have taught to you, you can use the Popov's book of Engineering Mechanics of Solid. It is of Prentice Hall publication. Apart from that, there is one most famous book of Shames. It is the Introduction to Solid Mechanics. Again, it is of Prentice Hall publication. Then one of the popular writer of Strength of Material books is Timoshenko. He has written 2 volumes of Strength of Material, Strength of Materials subject book. You can refer that also. And then you have a book written by Cradle and Dahl. That is a book by Tata McGraw-Hill publication, and the name of the book is Introduction to Mechanics of Solids. So any of these books you can refer for your study. Now I hope you have understood everything which I have taught to you today. Try to solve more and more numericals based on this concept of finding the end reactions. Alright, if you feel any problem, you can write me in the description box, so that in future I can respond you with the solution of that question. Thank you, students. Thank you all. Thank you and have a nice day.